Bush's children. But Barbara Bush, George W. Bush, and Laura Bush.
By the way, there's Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States. I want to bring in Kate Bennett, who's watching this as well. She's actually going to be seated, Kate, directly next to the Obamas, right?
That's correct, Wolf. The First Lady has not seen or spoken to Michelle or Barack Obama since Inauguration Day. So since that sort of that exchange that Michelle Obama joked about on the Ellen Show, where Melania Trump handed her that Tiffany box and she didn't quite know what to do with it. Melania hasn't seen them, and she'll be sitting next to them today at the funeral.
And you see President Obama and Michelle Obama. You see Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton walking in as well. All of the distinguished guests are going to be there one at a time. They'll be seated. This is a moment, John King, that a lot of us have covered all these individuals, but they're now all together.
And as you see the former presidents and first ladies, you also see former Prime Minister Mulroney of Canada, former Prime Minister John Major of Great Britain there. Again, the personal connections, not just to President Bush, but to Barbara Bush, when you had these relationships and the hospitality she showed them when they came to the White House, relationships that were important, bilateral relationships at the moment that became personal relationships that outlasted the presidencies or their service as Prime Minister. They continued to stay in touch. And again, we're being repetitive, but that again is the character of the Bushes, whether it's the low staff member who they struck up an interest in, who 20 and 30 years later they're still talking to and in touch with, or whether it's a former prime minister who led their country at a time and the years after all are removed from power, they're still friends. That tells you something very important on this day.
The Mulroneys are very close to the Bushes, and in fact, the Bushes went to a number of the Mulroney weddings. And so when you say we're talking about personal, not political friendship.
Yes. And not political, but and yet you look at that front row there and see the image of these iconic figures in American politics over the past 30, 40 years, and how they are all so intertwined in so many different ways. And frankly, it all started with the woman that they're going there to celebrate, the matriarch, and her journey with her husband, and of course, the fact that they gave birth to a president and a would-be president, and how they all interacted for so many years, both as competitors and ultimately as friends, is just extraordinary. And this is one of those moments where you sort of take a breath and take a, sort of sit back and look at it and say, you know what? This is pretty extraordinary that they can all get together at this moment.
We talk about what a great mother she